What's up, everybody? It's 6:30 in downtown Phoenix on a Monday, and so it's the crew, Dylan Oliver, Benjamin Paris, and myself, Blake Neiman, getting you the roundup on the weekend of sports, and boy, what a weekend it was. Tale of two games for sure. The Eagles and the 49ers game kind of dampered by the quarterback injuries, while the Mahomes versus Burrow matchup coming into that one, it was a lot of tension, just from the mayor saying Burrow had to Burrow winning 3 of the past 3 matchups, and then Mahomes finally escaping that sort of curse. But we'll talk about Kyle Shanahan and how he's in sort of a curse later on. But just to start with Mahomes being able to get to the Super Bowl for the 3rd time in his career, short career thus far, in which he's accomplished many things. He now has a very good chance to also take home the MVP this season, which would put him at 2 MVPs. And if he wins the Super Bowl, he'd put him at 2 Lombardis, which would put him above the great Aaron Rodgers for 2 Lombardis, something he has not accomplished. And I don't necessarily know if he's been able to get to another Super Bowl appearance after the one he won, but that's kind of the topic we're going to start with, is has Mahomes, if he wins the Super Bowl this year and the MVP, will he surpass Aaron Rodgers?
Now you're throwing more stipulations into this. I think, as of right now, on January 30th, 2023, Patrick Mahomes has not yet surpassed Aaron Rodgers on the greatest of all times list. If you look at the stats, Rodgers has nearly 60,000 passing yards compared to Mahomes only 24,000. Rodgers has almost 500 passing touchdowns. He's sitting at 475. And he only has 105 interceptions compared to Mahomes, who only has 192 touchdowns and 49 interceptions. And then the MVPs are just so far for Aaron Rodgers. He has 4 MVPs to compare to, as of right now, Patrick Mahomes 1. He's going to get a second one this season, but still, as of right now, he's only at 1. And then again, the Super Bowls. Yes, they both have 1 Super Bowl right now. So therefore, with them both having only 1 Super Bowl and Rodgers having basically everything else going for him, I give it to Rodgers as of right now, January 30th, 2023. Ask me in 2 weeks, maybe, just maybe, I'll have another answer. Maybe I'll switch to Mahomes because he could have that second Super Bowl. But until Mahomes wins that second Super Bowl, no, he's not greater than Aaron Rodgers.
What's wild to me, just looking at their stats, stathead.com is like my favorite website, and you can do a little comparison of any 2 players on planet Earth. So I did a little comparison. Their numbers are pretty similar when you look at them per game, because of course Mahomes' career is quite a bit shorter than Aaron Rodgers, but he throws about 50 more yards per game so far, but they both throw around 2 touchdowns. They get sacked between 1 and 2 times. It's not bad. And Aaron Rodgers actually had better rushing stats for quite a while. But
he was an athletic freak.
It's interesting to look at. I think in the NFL, your legacy kind of does go down by Super Bowls. It doesn't really matter if you play well if you don't make the Super Bowl. I think you can tell any players on the Bengals that this weekend. I think you can tell any Bills player that this entire season. It doesn't really matter how well you play unless you're playing in February. So, yeah, I guess I'm going to have to stick with it. I think Aaron Rodgers still has him beat. It's tough only because of the longevity, though. Like, this is like, if you were to compare, I'm trying to, like, literally, if you're just to compare, I guess, Mahomes to Rodgers. I was going to try to make some wild comparison, but this is like a perfect comparison. I'd be like Peyton Manning to Brock Purdy, or Tom Brady to Brock Purdy. It's just hard to make that comparison when you look at sample size.
Okay, but then you look at sample size. Aaron Rodgers has played in the NFL for 18 seasons and has 1 Super Bowl appearance and 1 Super Bowl win. And Patrick Mahomes has played only 6 seasons. A third of that.
He's been a starter for only 5.
A starter for only 5. Has been in the
Why
NFL
would you tell him that?
for 6 seasons.
Gotta give him the whole
3
picture.
Super Bowl appearances. Already won an MVP. On his road to 2. He's already won a Super Bowl. He's basically done everything Aaron Rodgers has in a third of the time.
Well, then this turns into a classic Michael Jordan situation.
That's what I was about to say. What do you like more, appearances or just alone? What do you like more, Super Bowl appearances or Super Bowl wins? Do the Super Bowl appearances matter to you?
But you also have to think about the talent around him. He's had talent his entire career.
If we talk about
he has Travis Kelce. That's really all you need to know when you want to talk about Pippen, when you want to talk about Dennis Rodman. You have to think about Travis Kelce. That, I think, is a very similar situation.
Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb.
Hang on. I do want to hear your answer, though. Does it matter that he has that many more Super Bowl appearances than Aaron Rodgers?
He's won NFC championships. That should matter.
AFC. No, but...
Got him.
Oh, my bad.
Okay. So then, who's better, LeBron or Jordan? Because LeBron has far more Eastern Conference championship wins than Jordan does. So does it matter the conference championships or the actual overall championships?
Actual overall championships, but
tie game.
Then
1-1. There you go.
Well, I want you to put.
Jordan.
Wait, real quickly, just to get this is like an ethos thing for Dylan's credibility. Putting your Lakers bias aside, MJ or LeBron?
LeBron.
I hate this so bad.
I had LeBron before he even won a championship with the Lakers.
No way.
Hold up.
Tell me after he beats the scoring record, what does Jordan have on him other than 2 rings?
I think we can save this for another week. I just
we
want
can save this for another week.
I just want to get that out of the way.
I feel like this is a completely different situation because Jordan won 6 championships, more than LeBron. LeBron has more appearances, but Aaron Rodgers has less appearances and has the same amount of rings. Like, it is just... It's not comparable.
I think, first of all, what has to be kept in mind is that there's a man named Peyton Manning and a man named Tom Brady that exists, kind of making this conversation pointless. However,
I'm not saying these are the 2 greatest of all time.
However, I just have such a tough time, like as a sports fan, putting Mahomes up against these guys because he's played for 5 years. Will he end up being better? Probably.
By the end of his career, he will probably be the greatest quarterback of all time.
Whoa!
Tommy has something about that.
Yeah.
If Mahomes is still with Travis Kelce and Andy Reid for 13 more years, tell me he's not going to win 5 Super Bowls.
I don't know if that's true, though, because just like, who was on the level of Peyton Manning and then Tom Brady in the early 2000s?
Who's on Mahomes' level?
Well, you've got guys who are competing with him. Burrow beat him 3 times up until
And that's
yesterday.
it.
And then you got Allen.
Who can't make it past the divisional round of the playoffs. Lamar Jackson, who doesn't want to play in the playoffs.
True.
Justin Herbert, who's on a cursed franchise in the Chargers and can't make it past the first round. I mean...
That's why I think Trevor Lawrence is the next big quarterback. I really do. You know, he's going to need a few years. He's going to need some more help. I think that Trevor Lawrence is going to be... I think Lawrence Mahomes in about 3 to 5 years might be the next big thing. I really do. At least in the AFC. If they're both in the AFC, I think that's going to be the next big thing.
I just think Mahomes is absolutely phenomenal. Him and Aaron Rodgers are the 2 most talented quarterbacks I've ever seen play football. And as long as Mahomes continues with the same formula that he's had the first 5 years of his career, he's going to keep winning. I mean, 5 years, 5 AFC Championship games, 3 Super Bowls. That's almost unheard of. Him and Brady are the 2 people that have been able to do that. So as long as Mahomes just sticks with the Chiefs, keeps Andy Reid, I don't see what else really can change. I mean, they lost Tyreek Hill this season, and he was even better and got them back to the Super Bowl. They're just a phenomenal, well-oiled machine that comes in and dominates every single solitary season.
Something that I think is just going to be interesting in 2 weeks, because if he loses the Super Bowl, I feel like that changes a lot.
Yeah, then Aaron Rodgers is still greater than him.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's all dependent upon the Super Bowl and his performance there, because Tom Brady, yes, I think he's lost 3 Super Bowls, 2 to the Giants, 1 to the Eagles. So he's had some losses, and so Mahomes could probably afford some too if he's going to be able to make it more and more.
But he does need to start catching up to him pretty soon if he's going to go down as the greatest of all time.
Because Tom's got 7.
Yeah.
Mahomes still only got 1. Yeah. So it's still an uphill climb to get to Tom, but He's still got a lot of time left. I mean, how long's Tom been playing, man? Like 23,
23
500
seasons.
seasons.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. But yeah. Anyway, moving on to another kind of quarterback topic. The Niners are a mess. I think we've known that for a little bit, just how the season has played out. They went from Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance originally, then to Jimmy Garoppolo, then to Brock Purdy, and then to Josh Johnson in the NFC Championship.
And then back to Brock Purdy.
And then back to Brock Purdy, who had a torn UCL when people thought he was faking it, and that was just a disgrace. But now they have two guys who are going to be coming off of injuries. I'm assuming they're going to maybe shadow away Jimmy G, but do you want it? Like, what do you do here? You got two injured quarterbacks and then a guy who you've tried to shove out, but who has performed decent in your system, and he took you to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they are in a very tricky situation here because they went and gave up so much for Trey Lance, and he really hasn't done anything for the 49ers yet in his career, whereas they didn't give up anything for Brock Purdy, and he came in and took them to an NFC Championship game, and then Garoppolo, who took them to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship game. So do you go with a formula that somewhat works, but doesn't necessarily get you over the hump and get you to that Super Bowl, or do you go with the unknown that could absolutely boom and create a potential 49er dynasty with how talented the rest of this team is, but also could absolutely bust and just destroy any chances of a Super Bowl that they have? Because that's really what it is with Trey Lance. He's either going to be great and win them that Super Bowl, or just once again be another quarterback that comes in and can't get the job done with such a talented team.
I think the latter of what you just said is probably the most likely one. I think the last few quarterback classes have all kind of been weak. Look at Mac Jones, mid. You look at Justin Herbert, probably the best quarterback in the last few years, still kind of mid. At this point in time, Trevor Lawrence, mid. Trey Lance really has nothing to show.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard. It's really, really hard. But when you look about the Niners quarterback situation, it's not just happening there. I mean, it's happening across the league. But the Niners quarterback situation this season, I think, will be memorable because of, one, Brock Purdy is him. And I stand by yesterday shouldn't be a loss for him because he didn't play a majority of the game. I think whoever plays 30 minutes in 1 second should get credit for a loss. So I don't think that he should get credit for that loss. But nonetheless, they were still able to make it work. They're a good football team that didn't have a quarterback, and I think everybody knows that you need a quarterback to win in this league. That's why he gets paid the most money. That's why they always get the best jersey sales. That's why the quarterback is iconic in every sense of the word. You love your quarterback, and the Niners really had no one to love. You like Brock Purdy, you do, because he did some incredible things, but you can't win without him. And now going forward, things aren't looking too great unless Brock Purdy is going to become your franchise quarterback, which seems wildly unlikely.
I mean, I think in the end, they're going to go with Trey Lance because
You've invested too much.
they've invested too much, first of all, but second of all, it's not like they're going to have a quarterback battle in training camp. Brock Purdy is out for 6 months. He's not going to be ready by training camp. He's still going to need a month and a half, 2 months after the start of training camp to even get ready to throw in the football again. So, I mean, it's not like Purdy can be out there fighting against Trey Lance for his job. So, therefore, I also don't know if they get rid of Garoppolo because they're still going to need that backup quarterback until Purdy gets back. So, it's really it's a bad situation for the entire Niners organization. This NFC Championship game was the worst possible thing that could have happened for them this week.
It's kind of just been the worst possible situation for Kyle Shanahan over the past few years. I mean, offensive coordinator for the Falcons that had arguably the worst loss in NFL history with the 28-3 blown Super Bowl lead. And then he's had 3 straight playoff losses. The one in 2019 where he blew the 10-point lead to the Chiefs. And then just last year when he blew a 10-point lead to the Rams in the fourth quarter. Both of those were in the fourth quarter. And then now he was down to his third string going into the NFC Championship, and then lost him and had to start a guy who's played for 15 different NFL teams. You just got to feel for the guy.
I mean, and this one is probably the least severe of all the games you just listed. You can't blame him here. Like, did you really think that this was going to be able to happen? The Eagles are a very good football team. Like, we all wanted Brock Purdy to go start a Super Bowl, but did we really think that was going to happen? For me, the Kyle Shanahan thing, this should get like an asterisk or should be written in like a different color because it's not as bad to me. Dude's playing without a quarterback. On the other side of it, for Brock Purdy, first of all, what scares me is that this elbow injury could ruin his life because he was about to make a career out of being a backup quarterback. Like, he was going to sit on a bench for the next 15 years and make millions of dollars because he played well for 8 games. He was about to have the time of his life. Now teams are going to be scared to sign him as a backup because they don't think he's going to have an elbow. But till about the first quarter yesterday, he had his whole life in front of him. I mean, he was going to be the greatest backup ever.
Yeah.
If you're a Niners fan or part of the Niners organization, how badly do you want a Super Bowl? There's rumors Tom Brady has always wanted to play for the Niners and might not retire. Do you try and make a move to go out and get Tom Brady for maybe one season, see if that can solve it and get you to a Super Bowl?
You might as well try.
Yeah,
you got to try.
Why not? I mean,
you got nothing better going for you at the quarterback position.
I just don't understand Tom Brady's mentality anymore because, like, Peyton Manning had his chance. Like, he went out on top. He won the Super Bowl.
It was the perfect ending.
Go.
I don't understand why Tom Brady doesn't want that.
He should have gone out.
That's clearly what he wants now. But he had his opportunity.
He should have done it the first year with the Bucs. There was no need for him to come back.
He had his opportunity to do it. So now I think he's trying to do it again. And he has to go to a team with talent. And what's going to happen is that one of two things are going to happen. One is going to go to a team where a defense will carry him to the Super Bowl. That's exactly what happened to Peyton Manning on the Denver Broncos in 2015. And number two, Christian McCaffrey or another running back is going to carry him to a Super Bowl. I kind of think he's done winning Super Bowls. But hey, Christian McCaffrey team up. As long as Tom Brady can just like throw the ball, as long as he's capable of it, he'll still be better than half the league. But I think if he could get McCaffrey in his backfield, he could win a Super Bowl, ride off into the sunset, say thanks for coming, and call it a career.
And don't forget, he would also have George Kittle, a premier tight end in the league. And who did he have so much success with? His tight end, Rob Gronkowski, for so many years, winning so many Super Bowls with them. So, I mean, it would fit. It just depends on what the Niners want to do with that quarterback situation.
To the Bucs and 49ers, I don't remember if it was on Fox or Sunday Night Football or whatever it was, but they made a really big deal about Tom Brady's walk-in. Because he walks into the stadium and he sees all the stuff of legends and all this stuff, and he's like a kid. He's like any of us going on a tour. You know, he's taking pictures on his phone, all that stuff. Why not go home? I mean, I'll pull a Kenny Dillingham here.
I'm home.
This is going to be Tom Brady. I'm home. Home! Slams water bottle on the table. Like, why not? If I'm Tom Brady, I'm like, let's do it. Give it a shot. 1 year. Just give me a 1-year contract. Give me 20 mil. We're going to win a Super Bowl. And then I'm going to, like, walk home to my parents' house, and that'll be it.
But do the Niners want him?
I think so.
They'd be stupid not to.
I think so, because you can still keep your franchise guy in the back pocket.
And what a better guy to learn from than Tom Brady?
Exactly.
Jimmy Garoppolo learned from Tom Brady.
He did. But
why didn't the 49ers want him when he was moving from New England, though? Do you think now they're going to want him this many years later?
Well, because they picked up his backup, Jimmy G. That was
the Tom Brady Jimmy G reunion we've been waiting for.
Maybe. But you mentioned Kenny Dillingham. He's been in attendance at a few ASU basketball games back when they were winning, Ben, but they're not winning so much anymore.
They're a mess.
Yeah.
3-game losing streak. I'm not going to say season's over, but season's over, okay? They need to basically win out if they want to make the tournament. On today's ESPN bracketology, they're the 5th team out of the tournament. But they still have to play UCLA again, they have to play USC again, they have to play U of A again, and then they have to go to the tournament where they'll probably have to play one of those other teams a 3rd time.
And most of those are on the road, too.
Exactly. They're in a bad spot. They're in a really bad spot. And their performance against the Washington Schools the first time around was electric. The past week was an absolute nightmare. And at this point, I am honored to go person by person and talk about why each of these individuals should be ashamed of themselves. DJ Horn plays with zero passion. Zero passion. The least emotional player. Doesn't even look like he's trying out there. Luther Muhammad. Not him. He's just not him. He thinks he's him, but he's not him.
Never
His time on the floor,
for him of the week.
awful. Austin Nunez reminds me of MPJ when he was a rookie on the Nuggets. He is not that guy, yet. Austin Nunez could be that guy. But quite frankly, he should not have been the guy taking a three-pointer with the game on the line in the corner. Was he ice cold for draining free throws? Yes. Would he have become him of the week if they had gone on to win that game?
Yes.
Probably. But here's the thing. He's not that guy. He's going to be a great player. Should be a great Sun Devil. I hope he spends 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years here, whatever. But he's not him yet. Desmond Cambridge, dog. Okay? Probably the best player on this team right now. But his shot selection is trash. He was like, he gets in these hot streaks, but then he goes ice cold. In the second half, the last 5 minutes, he was almost trying to play hero ball. His shot selection was garbage. Jemiah Neal, too hot and cold. Way too hot and cold. Either comes off the bench and gets a double-double, or does absolutely nothing. Jemiah Neal is too hot and cold. Like, probably the most inconsistent player on this team. Frankie Collins, he's on this team to be a distributor. His three-pointer in overtime to tie the game, awful. This like jumps, I don't even know how you describe it. But basically, he's running, he gets like a little bit of open space, he's like, all right, I'll put up a 3. Why not? Doesn't stop his momentum. We all looked at each other. We go, jump stop. You got to jump stop, get your momentum, take that 3. I still don't think he makes it. This team is awful at three-point shooting overall. Frankie Collins is here to pass the ball. He should have passed the ball. I'm not going to talk about anyone on the bench because really none of them play. I'll talk about just a few. Alonzo Gaffney sucks. Cannot shoot for his life. He should not be allowed to shoot three-pointers. Marcus Bagley still is on the roster. Maybe we should bring Marcus back. Maybe that's what they need. I didn't think he was still on the roster. All right. Anyway, Warren Washington, same thing as he'll go on these huge runs where he'll make like 8, 9 shots and a half and score like, I don't know, 16, 18, 20 points. But then he can't put a whole game together. He's had spectacular halves this season, but he hasn't had a great full game. Last guy I want to hit on. Oh, we got one more before that. Devin Cambridge. Kind of a similar thing to Warren, where he can like either play really, really well or not. The issue for me is that Devin Cambridge and Warren Washington's can't have good nights at the same time. If they can have good nights at the same time, that would be lethal. That is absolutely insane. Those guys in the paint on both sides should be killing them. But ASU can't play half-court offense either. Last guy I want to talk about. Micah Burno should be starting the game at forward, center, and guard. Micah Burno is what this team is missing. He is a spark. He is my muse. Micah Burno is my muse. He should be starting these games. Give him some flair, Bobby. Give him some flair.
He's on scholarship.
He has incredible drip. He's on scholarship. Put it to use. The hometown hero from Scottsdale, Arizona. If you want to talk about Josh Doan being the captain of the ASU hockey team, look at Micah Burno. He's from Scottsdale.
Preach.
He went to Chaparral. Let him play. Let Micah cook. Good night.
You heard the man.
You heard the rant. ASU basketball in a really tough spot right now, and it doesn't look like they're going to get much further along if they don't put something together in a miraculous stretch here to end out the season.
I got to catch my breath.
They take on Oregon State on Thursday, and then they'll face Oregon.
Hey, Blake, who do you want to win that game?
Oh, you guys know it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You know Oregon State. And if Oregon State pulls off an upset win, because Oregon State's really bad, I know, but if they beat Arizona State, it just ruins any possibility of an NCAA tournament.
Would not be surprised,
It
though.
would be electric. It would be electric. All right. Few minutes left of the show. We will talk about the NFL honors predictions and who we got. I think we already touched on the MVP portion of it with Mahomes, most likely. And then with the rookies, as far as offensive rookie of the year, I think it's between Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave.
Yeah, I I would have to give that one to Garrett Wilson, probably. With all the quarterback problems he had over the course of the year, to still produce like that. And he didn't miss as much time as Olave did towards the end of the season there. So I think with the production and the situation he was in, Garrett Wilson's the one that deserves it.
Yeah, and he should end up being a great player. He's just on the wrong teams. He won't succeed on the Jets. No one can succeed in New York.
When Aaron Rodgers is there next year, he'll make him a top 10 receiver.
All right.
All right, Defensive Player of the Year. You can pretty much
Nick
already
Bosa.
ship it over to Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner. Oh, I was rookie.
Oh, okay,
Rookie,
yes.
rookie
Yeah,
defense.
Sauce is defensive
Yeah,
rookie.
we're
I
defensive
just
rookie.
don't understand how the Jets are going to end up getting both
Yeah.
both the rookies of the year.
Yeah.
And they suck.
Yeah.
They got some good young pieces for sure. All right,
Regular defensive player of
regular
the year.
defensive player of the
Nick
year.
Bosa.
Nick Bosa. Yeah.
Who do you guys have for head coach?
Head coach.
Because right now, the favorite is Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni, and I think it is a disgrace if he wins the award. I think that if he wins the award, then the NFL honors are more meaningless than ever.
So, nominees are Brian Dable, Sean McDermott,
should be Dable.
Doug Peterson, Kyle Shanahan. You know,
Dable turned around the Giants this year.
I really
destroyed
think,
franchise.
I really think it's gonna. I feel like Sean McDermott's just gonna get it, and it's gonna be a Damar Hamlin thing. I really do. I feel like it's gonna be like on that Monday Night Football game. He showed more than his coaching ability. I feel like they might throw a Damar Hamlin thing. I really like. I don't know what the script writers are doing anymore because they showed this weekend that they're on straight crack.
My vote has to go to Doug Peterson. The Jaguars were the worst team in football the last 2 years. They had the number 1 overall pick both of the last 2 seasons. Doug Peterson's first season in, 9 wins, wins their division, takes them to the divisional round of the playoffs, and gives so many guys career years. I mean, look at the progression Trevor Lawrence had going into the second season. Evan Ingram was a joke on the Giants, and now he had a career year. Zay Jones had a career year. There were just so many pieces that Doug Peterson made better and just turned the Jaguars franchise around as a whole. So I think it should be him over anyone else.
The rational part of my brain agrees. What I just said about about the Bills coach, it's not rational. It's something that could happen. It's not rational. I 100% agree.
I would say if it's not Brian Daboll, it would be Doug Peterson. I think it's between those two guys to win because they both turned around really struggling franchises. To end off the show, as we started in 2023, the Hymn of the Week poll received all-time traction at 41 votes.
Wow.
The candidates were Patrick Beverley for his all-time tech, Cody Rhodes for winning the Royal Rumble.
Woo!
Yeah.
Novak Djokovic for winning his 10th Australian Open, so congrats to him, and Travis Kelce for just being a dog in general.
For cutting a promo on the field. He cut a promo on the field post-game.
For the mayor of Cincinnati.
He's coming for his throat.
While Kelce was close to winning, Patrick Beverley ultimately came out on top as this week's Hymn of the Week with 41.5% of the votes. So congrats to Patrick Beverley with a top 5 tech.
Hey, and by winning, he has an open invite on the show.
He does.
Anytime, Pat. Come on.
Anytime.
Next time the Lakers are in town playing the Suns, we'll have to try and head on down to Footprint.
We don't come back. We're gone. We're in LA the next time we play the Suns.
All right, when you go to LA for WrestleMania, I want an exclusive interview.
I'll try and get in touch with them.
That does it for our show. Thank you for hearing all of our rants and shenanigans, and we hope you come back next Monday as we kick off Super Bowl week, and it should be a fun time here in Arizona. You can catch all the bottom of the 6 shows on Spotify if you missed them, and make sure to stay tuned for what's left as we say so long from Bill Austin Radio Studio, downtown Phoenix.
Fight.